Welcome to another episode of DueYourDD, the YouTube channel / podcast, which will be coming soon, where we dive in deep on companies and everything that you need to know about them. In this episode, we will be talking about Activision Blizzard Incorporated, ticker symbol ATVI, and we'll start off with an investment summary, then go through a general overview of the company before then getting into all of the additional information that you need to know, like their different video game franchises, the competitors for the company, and the emerging market of esports as a whole. And then we'll finish off with the positives and the negatives of Activision. There will be timestamps down in the description down below for anybody that wants to know anything or skip around to any different parts. If you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit the like if you enjoy or just find all the information useful to hear. Without further ado, let's get started with the general investment summary of Activision Blizzard Incorporated. Activision Blizzard Incorporated, together with its subsidiaries, develops and publishes interactive entertainment content and services in the Americas, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and the Asia-Pacific region. The company operates through three main segments: Activision Publishing Incorporated, Blizzard Entertainment Incorporated, and King Digital Entertainment. It develops and distributes content and services on video game consoles, personal computers, mobile devices, including subscription, full game, and in-game sales, as well as by licensing software to third-party or related-party companies that distribute Activision and Blizzard products. In addition, it operates an esports league and offers digital advertising content and provides warehousing, logistics, and sales distribution services to third-party publishers of interactive entertainment software, as well as manufacturers of interactive entertainment hardware products. The company's key product franchises include Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Candy Crush. Activision Blizzard Incorporated is headed in Santa Monica, California. This basically means they make video games and everything to do with the store, as well as having professional esports leagues for said games out there. And most of you probably have heard of or have played yourself Call of Duty, so you know the name. Now we have a general overview of Activision themselves. Activision and Blizzard merged together to become one company in 2008. Separately and together, this company has produced some of the biggest video game series in the world. Examples of the series are Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, Saga, Hearthstone, StarCraft, as well as a few others. These companies have been developing video games since before the turn of the century, and even prior to the video game industry blowing up, they had success with games like Guitar Hero. Activision Blizzard pays an annual dividend of 47 cents per share. They have increased their dividend every year since 2010 when they first announced the dividend. In 2010, Activision Blizzard declared a 15-cent dividend. On average, the dividend has grown about 10% annually. On average, the company only uses about 14.46% of its earnings to pay out shareholder dividends. This is a sustainable number for Activision Blizzard to continue growing their dividend throughout the next few years. Now, over the past year, Activision Blizzard has slightly underperformed the NASDAQ index. Throughout 1 year, Activision has increased 57.04, and the NASDAQ 1 year, 61.53. Very minor difference, but it does matter a little bit. This could be due to the market conditions that we saw in 2020 that were very generous to both growth tech stocks and innovative companies doing very well. This is similar looking back to the 3-year returns where the NASDAQ slightly outpaced Activision Blizzard, but just like 2020, the past 3 years have been very generous to companies in the tech space seeing massive growths with hope for new innovation. Looking even deeper into the history, we can see that 5- and 10-year returns for Activision Blizzard almost doubling the NASDAQ returns. Since 2016, Activision Blizzard has been able to increase profit every year except for one, and that goes the same for their revenue earned. Now we're going to get into the different video game franchises currently under Activision Blizzard Incorporated, the main ones that we talked about earlier. First is Call of Duty. Call of Duty has been released yearly since its inception in 2003. This is one of the most successful gaming franchises of all time, currently ranked number 3, and the franchise is worth around $17 billion today. The Call of Duty franchise is still seeing the success that it always has, with Call of Duty Modern Warfare being the second most downloaded game in 2020. As of April 2021, the new release Call of Duty Cold War has the second most downloaded game in the month of March and was only displaced out of the number 1 spot because of the release of MLB The Show 21, and year to date in 2021, Call of Duty Cold War has the number 1 most downloaded game of the entire year. On top of Activision Blizzard having success in downloads of their game, their gaming franchises produce the second highest sales of microtransactions within the games that they sell. Microtransaction revenue was mostly driven by the new Call of Duty reboot, which saw a double-digit percentage spike in the MTX and overall sales over Black Ops 4, as well as the successful launch of Call of Duty Mobile. Microtransactions are basically things you buy within the game, such as a new skin, a new camo for a gun, things like that. Anything that you would buy inside the game that isn't connected to the game itself is considered a microtransaction for anybody curious. The next game we have to cover is Overwatch. Overwatch was released in May of 2016 and has seen over 50 million active players at its peak. By January 2021, over 60 million Overwatch accounts have been created. If you look at an Overwatch player count graph, you can see that the increase in accounts started to noticeably flatten around January 2018, though it didn't stop trending up. Blizzard doesn't release active player numbers for quite a few of its games. However, there is still info that can be taken from things like earnings reports and the like. In the case of the 2020 earnings call report, we can roughly summarize that the Overwatch player count in 2021 numbered roughly 10 million players. Around that time, many Overwatch players were actively playing the game at least monthly. This is a sharp decrease from the launch year where 35 million players actively played. An even sharper decline can be seen in Twitch viewer numbers. While Overwatch esports events still get a lot of views, the overall number of viewers has declined sharply. Specifically, in the middle of 2019, viewer numbers dropped from a peak of 47,000 viewers to a rather shocking 14,000 viewers. Since then, the numbers haven't recovered. While previously, viewer figures exceeding 30,000 weren't uncommon, the last time they managed this was before September 2019. Lack of content is in no small part responsible for this, but also some of the changes made to the game, and yes, waning player numbers too. But a lot of fans and players are looking forward to the upcoming release of Overwatch 2. While the game doesn't have any release date yet, it's expected that its release will mark an uptick in the Overwatch player count. The game makes lofty promises, improved gameplay, more lore, and a rebalanced lineup of heroes. A lot of lapsed players are excited to come back and check out the new release when it's out. This probably won't change the trajectory of the first Overwatch game, but it is likely to give Overwatch 2 a good boost of interest and players when it launches. The next we have to cover is Candy Crush Saga. This took over the internet when it was initially released in 2012. Candy Crush was one of the first freemium apps to generate over $1 billion in revenue. Candy Crush achieved 1 billion downloads in 2020 and is one of the 2 apps in the mobile gaming category to break 1 billion downloads. In 2015, Candy Crush peaked with its most active users playing the game at least once monthly. Candy Crush generated $1.19 billion in 2020, making it the 3rd largest grossing mobile game outside of China. 273 million people play Candy Crush once a month. Monthly active users peaked in 2015 with 327 million users. Even the MAUs peaked at this time. Revenue and profits have grown year over year since the game's release. Next is World of Warcraft, or commonly known as WoW, W-O-W. It continued to grow, with the game going on both classic and modern models. Making it 6th straight quarter of growth thanks to the Shadowlands expansion, subscriber growth, and a high participation in value-added services. Warcraft is the 10th highest grossing video game franchise of all time, worth $10 billion, and is still seeing growth to this day. Now that we've covered what Activision owns in their main core games, we now have some of their competitors. Activision Blizzard is in a very competitive space in the game development industry. However, they have been a leader in the industry since the turn of the century. Obviously, there are companies such as Nintendo that have been creating products since 1889, or companies like EA, Electronic Arts, and Take-Two Entertainment that have been developing since 1982 and 1993 respectively. Originally, Activision and Blizzard were 2 separate entities, both formed around the 1990s, and it wasn't until 2008 that they created Activision Blizzard. When looking at these companies, Activision Blizzard owns the largest of the market caps at $76 billion, and the next closest being Nintendo at $72 billion. Following Nintendo, there is a large gap down to EA, currently at $40 billion. Looking at the company's returns, year-to-date, Activision stock has seen the most growth with 6%. This could be largely attributed to the release of Warzone in the previous years. However, when you look at the last 5 years of return, Nintendo and Take-Two have produced 350% returns, whereas Activision Blizzard only returned 150%. Looking even further back at the 10-year chart, this is where Activision shines, showing 800% returns. The only company to top these returns was Take-Two. This would be due to the overwhelming success of Grand Theft Auto V, a game that was released in 2013 and still setting records for most revenue in a month all the way into 2020. Another area where Activision shines is the dividend. The only other competitor that has a dividend is Electronic Arts, and they have had 0 years of dividend growth, whereas Activision Blizzard has been growing their dividend every year for 11 years straight. The only competitor that has had more free cash flow than Activision Blizzard, currently at $2.2 billion, is Nintendo at $5.5 billion, and this can be attributed to Nintendo having approximately 100 more years of business operating than Activision Blizzard. Activision Blizzard in 2020 brought in $8.8 billion in revenue. Nintendo was the only competitor that brought in more revenue throughout the year, but it should be noted that Nintendo sells consoles alongside their game development. The next closest to Activision Blizzard was Electronic Arts at $5.6 billion in revenue, roughly $3.2 billion below Activision. Now, next is the emerging market of esports. Esports is not something that has been around for a very long time. Competitive leagues consisting of just one video game is still a fairly new concept. Currently, there are some different leagues that are actually doing pretty well. The Overwatch League, or OWL. The OWL had its inaugural season in 2018. The league consists of 20 different teams owned by their separate organizations. The Overwatch League negotiated multi-million-dollar media contracts with ESPN and Amazon's Twitch streaming service, and the league secured major spots like Coca-Cola, Intel, and Toyota as sponsors. The Call of Duty League, also known as the CDL had its first inaugural season in 2020, and it currently consists of 12 teams, all owned by separate organizations. Each team had to pay about a $25 million buy-in fee. There have been rumors of expansion teams joining the league and at the end of the 2021 season. However, this is unconfirmed, and there are skeptics that the expansion will not happen until after the first year of in-person events, which were canceled due to COVID-19. The CDL has sponsorships with Mountain Dew, YouTube, Scuff Gaming, and many, many more. In 2021, the global esports market was valued at just over $1.08 billion, an almost 50% increase from the previous year. Additionally, the esports industry's global market revenue was forecasted to grow to as much as $1.62 billion in 2024. Asia and North America currently represent the largest esports markets in terms of revenue, with China alone accounting for almost 1/5 of the market. The interesting point in this is that China has 1/5 of the market value, and that has neither Overwatch or Call of Duty have gained the popularity that these games have in North America. It should be further noted that with the release of Call of Duty Mobile, the increase of player population in the Asian region has increased substantially. It should be noted that esports has taken a huge hit from COVID not being able to host in-person events. It is documented by Hector Rodriguez, H3CZ, that NRG lost out on approximately $1 million from just missing one event they were supposed to hold in 2020. Future of esports: with all the growth that esports are seeing, more chances for bigger sponsors and advertisement chances will come in, allowing Activision Blizzard to capitalize on bringing in more revenue. This is a baby in terms of all other sports leagues. Esports hasn't been here nearly as long as things like the NFL, the NBA, things like that. There is still plenty of time for them to grow, bring in more money, and this is just the beginning. This could bode very well for Activision Blizzard if everything goes right. And last but not least, we have the positives and the negatives for Activision Blizzard, but obviously we will first start off with the positives. Activision Blizzard are the owners of the world's 7th most played game, Candy Crush Saga. The game was originally developed and published by a company named King. In 2016, Activision acquired King in a $5.9 billion deal. Candy Crush Saga led the way for a new generation of mobile games, as well as the first freemium apps to generate over $1 billion in revenue. And it peaked its average user around 2015, but it still has a loyal fan base of 250 million users that play once a month. Activision Blizzard also owns 2 other games in the top 20 of most played games of all time, with the release of World of Warcraft and Call of Duty Warzone both achieving over 100 million people who have played either game, as well as Overwatch being listed near the top 30, having over 50 million people played the game. Even with the release of some of the biggest solo games released of all time, Activision Blizzard owns 2 of the 10 biggest gaming franchises of all time. These franchises are Call of Duty, number 3, currently worth $17 billion, and the other one being Warcraft, which is currently number 10, worth $10 billion. In 2016, the video game industry estimated worth was about $23.6 billion and has shown growth every year since. In 2019, the gaming industry was worth $151.6 billion. It is estimated that the gaming industry will continue to grow at a roughly 13% rate until 2027. Activision Blizzard is one of the early pioneers in terms of esports. They have been hosting Call of Duty tournaments for the past decade and operating in other esports of their other games titles. In 2017, Activision Blizzard started their first franchised gaming league based around their game Overwatch. Then in 2020, Activision Blizzard had the inaugural season of the Call of Duty League, showing that they are ready to expand and be the people that first go into things, which means they have a good track record of doing this, and it could bode very, very well for the future. Now, the negatives for Activision Blizzard: they had a stellar 2020 with the release of Call of Duty Warzone, taking the world by storm. However, this may create difficulty for the company to maintain growth throughout the rest of 2021 because there will not be a release of another game like Warzone to boost their earnings. The title gained more than 60 million players within a few months of release. That helped drive bookings up 72% year over year in the quarter 2 of 2020. Activision likely won't match that performance. Earlier this year, management issued preliminary full-year guidance for 2021, calling for bookings to increase by less than 1% over 2020. Adjusted earnings per share would be up 4% to $3.34. In September of 2018, Activision Blizzard stock began to sell off, and throughout the next 2 months, the stock plunged 36%. This was mainly due to a loss of sales, revenue, and profit due to Blizzard Entertainment's side of the company canceling the release of their World of Warcraft release, which was projected to release in 2019. This can be concerning for the future, knowing that a release being canceled/delayed can really punish the stock's price, as Call of Duty is a franchise that has been releasing yearly games since 2003. There has been rumors of 2021 release of Call of Duty being delayed, however unlikely, as Activision Blizzard has brought on all of their subsidiaries to develop the game. Although probably a small portion of the company's earnings, the company has missed out on hosting esports events with fans. The OWL and CWL and the CDL were forced to go online with COVID taking over the world. The positive was that these leagues could still run and still make revenue, but it was also unknown how much opportunity was missed without being able to hold in-person events and other forms of revenue such as more merch sales or even tickets to these events. Although beating earnings estimates consistently, there is no real earnings growth trend, very much based on the success of each product. And now, that is it. That is all we have for Activision Blizzard. Now, to go over the general company, they are one of the leaders in gaming across the board. Whether it's mobile or just actual console/PC games, they are the leader. Mobile gaming is going to have a skyrocket, with Call of Duty Mobile leading the charge, as well as all of these other games that they currently have under their product is amazing. Having 2 professional leagues for games with a new release coming as well is looking to be absolutely amazing, but it is said that if either of these leagues do poorly, if a game is delayed a little bit, anything like that can severely hurt the price of the stock. If 2021, with the new release of Call of Duty Vanguard, gets delayed because of COVID-19 and not everybody being able to be in the office, it really could hurt the stock price of Activision. So tread carefully. There's a lot of positives going for this, but there's just as many negatives as well as every other company. Well, hopefully we have provided everything you need to know about Activision. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. We'll be sure to reply to you as fast as we can. I am linked down in the description down below, the voice of it, X, as well as Jeremy. He'll be down there as well if you want to check him out and all that sort of stuff. If you enjoyed the video, you found it informative, anything like that, hit that like button and subscribe to DueYourDD for more videos like this when we dive into companies and everything of the sort. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and remember to do your DD.